Cody Rhodes does it again. He cuts the promo of the year through the first 3 weeks of 2021, and he delivers some lines that we will never forget. Plus, we have news on his free agent status as well. And Bully Ray is in the news again for yet another terrible take. We give our thoughts on why Bully Ray is the biggest idiot in wrestling, like wrestling talk today. This is your AEW Dynamite review right here on the Fourth Wall Wrestling Podcast. Let's go. Welcome, everybody, to the Fourth Wall Wrestling Podcast. I'm Will. I'm here with Brandon. Brandon, how's it going?
It's going good, bro.
Good to hear. Good to hear. AEW Dynamite. AEW Dynamite from this past Wednesday. We were not able to get it done on Thursday afternoon like normal, so we're here on Friday. Let's see. Dynamite gave us a little bit of everything. We got 2 absolutely fantastic promos, 2 of which I think could be considered for promo of the year. We got some very good wrestling. We got a good main event. We got a good mixed tag match. We got a perfectly booked segment. I'm not even going to call it a match, but a perfectly good segment between Shawn Spears and CM Punk. Brandon, overall, this is a good stepping stone for what we're seeing in the coming weeks, and it's laying the foundation for a very good road to Revolution. So I want to get your thoughts. What did you think of AEW Dynamite?
Another good Dynamite, like we usually get every week. Lots of situations that could lead into the next following weeks. We still have ongoing stories that keep us interested to tune back into TBS next week. Really good segments throughout this week's show. Nice wrestling as always. Yeah, it was a really solid edition of Dynamite.
Yeah, and I think more often than not, we're not getting absolutely mind-bogglingly great shows, but we're consistently getting good storylines, good matches, good storyline progressions, because not every show is going to be an absolute home run that everybody looks back on and says, that was the show of the year. And I want to get your opinion on something, because I feel like we've talked about it before, but we're going to go over it again. Do you feel that the way this business is now, wrestling fans are always going to be putting more pressure on AEW to deliver home run shows every week, and when it's not an absolute top-tier show, it's going to get criticized?
Yeah, for sure.
Yet, do you also feel that WWE puts on terrible shows every single week, twice a week, regularly, and they get the benefit of the doubt, and they're the ones to say, oh, well, we got this?
Yeah, man, it's I hate how the wrestling community does that. Fans can get really biased in it, and it's really frustrating. Cause in the end, if WWE had a better show than AEW, we would say it, and it'd be obvious. But they just never do. And AEW is consistently putting out the better shows. And when they have a shows that'll just lack, then we'll come on here and say it. And that just happens sometimes. Not every show is gonna be 5-star classic every match. That's
Right.
it's just how it works. And I think because AEW said they were going to be the alternative, it just everybody thinks that they have to be better than WWE, and they have to deliver on everything that they say and have to deliver on everything that they do. And yeah, which that isn't the case. I mean, they are having better shows than WWE right now, but that could always change. But still, the always looking at AEW's littlest flaws to pull that out and say, oh, well, they're not perfect, so I'm still not going to watch them and they suck. It's stupid. when WWE's whole product right now is a flaw. So, yeah.
There's a stigma in professional wrestling that if you're not WWE, you have to always deliver every single show. You can't have an off night. There can't be a mistake. There can't be something on the show that isn't good. Or else you suck and WWE's better and you'll never be as good. There's that stigma, and it shows with shows like Battle of the Belts. And I've said this before, I know I have. Battle of the Belts, all in all, was a good wrestling show. You got 3 decent, if not good matches. Dustin and Sammy killed it. Ricky Starks and Matt Sydal put on a good wrestling match. And same with Britt Baker and Riho. Now, I get it. I'm not a big Riho fan. Britt Baker may not be your absolute cup of tea in the ring. She's not really mine. She's good. She's not great. But all things considered, and I don't really like that phrase in wrestling, but all things considered, you look at it and it was a good show. It wasn't a home run, and I don't know why people expected it to be a home run. But in all honesty, that show was better than any week-to-week show that WWE's put on in the last 2 years. And you can't tell me I'm wrong. So, I don't know. I think this BS stigma about AEW and all these other companies not being home runs every week is absolutely mind-bogglingly, mind-numbingly stupid. And you can talk about the ratings all you want. Oh, well, they can't hit a million viewers consistently. They've been around for less than 3 years. WWE's been around. Raw specifically has been around for 30 years, and they have the lowest viewership they've ever had. You want to talk about stigmas? If you want to have a stigma against someone, have it against the company who's never putting on good shows. At best, a little bit less than decent. I'll give them credit where credit is due. They do some things right. But they are not the better company. They're not the better show. And they are not going to be in position to be the better show as long as they're doing the same things they're doing now. Are we agreeing on that front, Brandon?
Yeah, for sure. I agree 100%.
All right, good. Guys, you can leave your thoughts on that as well. But the stigma is real. And I think if nothing else, this really doesn't have to do with anything directly that we're going to talk about today. But I think the stigma is real when it comes to the differences between AEW and WWE. And I wanted to say that for a little bit, but I finally found the words to say it today. Okay, we'll get into our first piece of news. AEW TNT champion Cody Rhodes is working as a free agent. And no, idiots, he's not going to the WWE. He's not showing up in the Royal Rumble. He's not doing anything involved with Vince McMahon. That bridge has been burned for far too long. His contract expired at the end of 2021. Earlier this year, Rhodes stated to Sports Illustrated that he doesn't plan on leaving AEW anytime soon. He says, and I quote, "As of now, my future is with AEW. AEW would be very strange without the core members of this revolution. We all still talk. We all have this admiration for each other. I can't see myself anywhere else, and I'm very optimistic about what the future holds." Guys, Cody Rhodes is not leaving AEW. He just said it there, but even if he didn't say that, he wouldn't be leaving anyway. So, Brandon, before I get into my whole spiel on this, I want to get your thoughts. What do you think about these WWE fans and not necessarily WWE fans, but wrestling fans saying that Cody Rhodes could be showing up as Stardust in the Royal Rumble?
Yeah, that's really dumb. I don't know why people would think that, but yeah, it's definitely not gonna happen. You know, the relationship he has with WWE, and then his higher up role at AEW, he'd never do that. Wouldn't be a good business decision. It wouldn't be a good decision really at all. Not needed. Uh, yeah, and I don't know why anybody thinks that's gonna happen. Um, but yeah, it's that there's always some fans who always think that their fantasy isn't a fantasy and that it can happen in real life for whatever reason. Fans like that all the time. Every time the Rumble comes around, and yeah, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah. I'm really not sure what else you can say. Fantasy booking is called fantasy booking for a reason. If I fantasy booked what I wanted to happen in the WWE and in AEW and in Impact, wrestling would not be the same. If I fantasy booked what I wanted to happen in each of these companies, they'd all be on an equal playing field, arguably. It's not how
Yep.
it is, though. You can't fantasy book your way through reality. You can't wish your way through what is currently going on in the state of wrestling. And more importantly, you can't expect things that are just simply impossible. Well, I don't want to say it's impossible, but it's relatively impossible to the situation that we're currently in. Cody Rhodes is locked in with AEW. You heard in his promo on Wednesday night, which we'll get into a little bit later, you heard in his promo, he absolutely bashed NXT. He called them hip toss class. He called them developmental. Does that sound like a man who is going to go into the Royal Rumble? A guy who, do you think, more importantly, not just Cody Rhodes, even if Cody Rhodes wanted to go, do you think Vince McMahon would allow Cody Rhodes into the Royal Rumble after the things he said about his company? No.
No way.
Absolutely no way. Vince McMahon may be bad at running his professional wrestling company, but he is not an idiot. On certain things, he is an idiot, but on this, he's not an idiot. He knows that Cody Rhodes despises his company. And he knows that after all is said and done, after AEW ascends to the top, Cody Rhodes is not going to be talking good about World Wrestling Entertainment. And finally, my final point is, even if Cody Rhodes and Vince McMahon were to be on a mutual level of respect, which is not the case, but if they were, what makes you think that anybody from AEW and WWE are going to work together? Even if Cody, I'm sure there's people in the company that are on good terms with Vince McMahon, that came from WWE that are on good terms with Vince McMahon. I can't directly think of one. Maybe, I don't know, Brandon, who's somebody you would say that left WWE and came to AEW that you would say is on good terms with Vince?
Bryan Danielson.
Okay, there you go. Bryan Danielson. Even he would not go and want to work cross promotion. That's just not how things work. No matter who wants it, even if Danielson wanted it, Vince wouldn't want to do it because it means he has to put his name on something that AEW is doing. That's simply just not going to happen. I don't understand what people don't get. But all in all, don't get your hopes up. Don't try to fantasy book anything regarding a crossover, and you won't get your hopes let down. You won't get your ego hurt because you were wrong. And nothing will come of this. This is more of a publicity stunt. You see what Cody Rhodes is doing on TV. He'll have a new deal done soon. And guys, if you hear like a notification sound in the background, that's our Discord. I don't know if you can hear it, but I can certainly hear it. So that's what that is. Well, anyway, our second and final piece of news for the AEW Dynamite review. I talked about it in the intro. Bully Ray may just be the worst. What's the word I'm looking for, Brandon? Worst analyst in Wrestle Talk today.
Yeah.
Bully Ray says that Jon Moxley should have apologized to the fans on Dynamite. Now, before I even go to what exactly he said or why he said it, Brandon, when you hear this, what are your initial thoughts? Even just hearing the word apology in the same sentence as Jon Moxley, what are your thoughts?
John Moxley, he already, is already, the type of dude to, to say things like that because, his wrestling character isn't far off at all from how he is in real life. Um, and then also with the fan being disrespectful as he was, what is John gonna what is he gonna apologize for?
Right. Um. Look, here's the thing. Jon Moxley has absolutely nothing to apologize for. That fan was a complete idiot. And that's not even what Bully Ray is saying he should apologize for. But that fan, one, was an absolute moron. Who I'm glad this segment kicked off so he didn't get to see the rest of the show. Imagine paying good money, because that was a good enough seat to where he could be heard, to see 1 hour of dark elevation and Jon Moxley's entrance, and then you're kicked out of the building. Imagine. Brandon, imagine if that was us. Imagine we went to the Battle of the Belts and screamed something at Sammy Guevara about his relationship status. Imagine how much of an idiot we would feel like if we did that.
Yeah.
Anyway, Jon Moxley, he did what was best for him. He made the 100% correct decision. He had a problem. As he said in his promo, he had demons. He went and took care of them. He got right. He looks so good right now. He looks completely and totally healthy.
Yeah, man.
There's nothing that man needs to apologize for. Let me read what Bully Ray said on Busted Open Radio. And I quote, "I did enjoy that they started off with Moxley. They came out with a bang. People were ready for it, and Moxley said what he needed to say. However, I would have liked to heard just a little bit of accountability from Jon." Close quote. And he also said he would have liked to hear an apology, but that wasn't in the quote that I wrote down. Accountability for what exactly, Bully Ray? Accountability for the fact that he took accountability and went into rehab? He already took that accountability. Do you know how simple, I don't want to say simple, but do you know how different things could be if he didn't take accountability for his problem and go into rehab? Do you know how different things would be if he didn't take accountability and admit he had a problem and took accountability and talked about it in an open forum in front of millions of people on TV? You know how different things would be if he didn't take accountability and not hide behind something and be out and be open with everybody? That is taking accountability. I haven't seen a single fan ask for an apology. I haven't seen a single talent or analyst, except for Bully Ray, ask for an apology. I'm not sure why Bully Ray thinks that we need an apology, because last time I checked, the fans were on his side. Brandon, give me your thoughts.
Yeah, man. This is like you said. He had a huge world title, rivalry about to come up. If he stayed, during that time period, which would have been a disservice, because then what if we would have got a Jeff Hardy situation like we did back in TNA, back in back all those years ago? Then everybody would have been disappointed. Then everybody would have been upset, and then we would have been like, what's wrong? But Jon decided, like you said, to take accountability at that time. He knew that about to be in the big position on the show that he was, could not be in the mental state and physical state that he was. So he had to go to rehab. And there's nothing. I mean, there's nothing really else to say about that. He took accountability.
There's
came
nothing
back.
wrong with that.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. He came back in a really fast amount of time because a lot of
3
people would have
months.
took longer. Yeah, a lot of wrestlers would have took very much longer than that. A lot of wrestlers would have took up to a year for real. But John came back in 3 months, greatest shape of his life, greatest mental state of his life, and is about to have right now, this year, the best run of his life. You can already tell the way he talked, the way he, just the tone in his voice. You could tell that he meant every word that he said. And he doesn't have to apologize because everybody knows he obviously he is sorry for what happened, for having to leave, but everybody accepted it because we knew it was best for him. And that's that. I mean,
Yeah. You hit the nail on the head with that. I think Bully Ray is another sports journalist. I don't even want to call him a sports journalist, but he is one of those guys who gets on radio. He has an open mic and he just says things. There's no structure. There's no benefit. There's no payoff from hearing Bully Ray speak. It's just a bunch of words and a bunch of meaningless little phrases and conversations that he has with Tommy Dreamer and Mark Henry and Dave LaGreca on the radio every day. Ad nauseum, we have to hear him. There's no benefit. And this is just another example of why people like Bully Ray should not have an open forum to speak, because they say things like this and they look stupid. Jon Moxley has nothing to apologize for. He already took accountability for his actions. He knew he had a problem. He went and fixed them. That's all there is to it. Bully Ray is the only person I've ever seen asking for an apology. If anything, the man apologizing should be Bully Ray for a stupid statement like that. And speaking of Jon Moxley, that's where we'll get into the review. Jon Moxley is back in AEW. His music hit, Wild Things started to play, and that pop was unreal. Some prick in the crowd yelled at him, "Get this drunken piece of trash out of the ring." Jon Moxley had some expletives for him. He said one time he woke up out of a bad dream. He doesn't remember everything about it, but he was on the side of the road, bruised and battered, with a cloud over him, a dark black cloud, like a demon that followed him around for years. He said that cloud is laughing at him, and before he had a chance to answer what the cloud was saying, he woke up. He says everybody has scars, and he has more scars than the average man. He says the scars that matter are in the inside. And he says no matter how hard we try to hide them, those scars make us who we are. He said no one should be afraid to stand up and embrace their scars. Actually, you know what? I'm going to stop right there because I have a direct read of word for word what he said, and I'm going to read that. And I quote, "It was a little while ago. I fell asleep on a plane. We landed. I don't even know what city I was in. And we hit the ground, and I woke up from a dream. It was a bad dream. I don't remember everything about it, but I remember I was on the side of the road on my hands and knees in the dirt. My face was bruised and cut up, and there was this black cloud hanging over me. A demon. The kind of demon that follows you around for your whole life. The kind of demon that follows you around for years. These demons come in all shapes and sizes for everybody. And this cloud, he was laughing at me. He says, everything that you are, everything that you've become, everything that you have in your life that's good, none of that was supposed to happen. None of that belongs to you. Where do you get off thinking that you were going to make it with all of that?" And that cloud, this demon, he asked me, he says, "Did you really think you were going to make it out? The nerve of you. Did you really think you were going to make it out?" And I woke up before I had the chance to answer him. Nobody gets through life unscathed. We all carry scars. I have more scars on my body than the average person, but those aren't important. The important ones are the scars we carry on the inside that are harder to see. Sometimes we try to cover up these scars. Sometimes we try to pretend these scars aren't there, but those are the scars that we should be proud of. Those are the scars that tell our story. Those are the scars that give us strength. Those are the scars that make us the people we are. Nobody is perfect. If everybody was perfect, the world would be a very boring place. So nobody, no matter how, or no matter who you are, should be afraid to stand up in front of the whole world and bear it all. Everything that makes you who you are, scars and all, and say, hey, this is me. So that being said, I am sure there are plenty of people somewhere around the world. I'm sure there are plenty of people who want to write me off. I'm sure there are plenty of people who doubt me. And you know what? It won't be the first time, and it won't be the last. But if you want to write me off, now if you want to doubt me, you go ahead and say whatever you want to say. You go ahead and think of whatever you want to think, and I'll tell you the same thing I told that black demon, that cloud hanging over me in my dream. You can take all of that and shove it up your ass. I don't run from demons, I just beat the shit out of them. For everyone in this building, everybody around the world that's had my back and supported me through the thick and thin, thank you. Buckle up and get ready because we're going on a ride. In the year of 2022, I'm going on a pilgrimage around the world. I'm going to grab the world of professional wrestling by the balls now more than ever, more than anyone in this business. I am truly free. I'll tell you this. I've been to hell. I wouldn't recommend it. It is very, very liberating. There is no hell that has been put upon me in this ring that I haven't been through, and worse. So if there's anybody in AEW, anybody around the world that thinks they can put me through more hell than I've already been through, know this. I'm thirsty. You thought I was dangerous before? These days, all I drink is blood. Brandon, very, very powerful. Very powerful words. You know, a guy like Jon Moxley grabbed his problem by the testicles and handled it. As I said before, he took accountability and made a decision that was best for him. He made a decision that was best for his family. And he went and took care of his problem, and now he's back. And he left us with those words. I want to get your thoughts on this promo.
This was an excellent, way to come back to the AEW fan base. Like I said earlier, every word John spoke, you could tell he meant it. The tone of his voice. He was back and he was back on a mission, and he's ready to pick back up on what he started and do it better than he did before. Really looking forward to this year for Jon Moxley. He's easily one of my favorite stars, topping off this year of wrestling already. We know it's going to be a great year, and you can tell that he's going to be one of the highlights of this year, considering after that promo and coming back on Wednesday.
Yeah. One thing I noticed during this promo was that every word he said, the crowd was absolutely hanging on to every single syllable that came out of his mouth. One thing I noticed more than others is that as soon as his music stopped, you could hear a pin drop in that arena. You could hear it was like you could hear anything. Any noise that was made in that arena, you could hear. You could hear that idiot in the crowd tried to yell at Jon Moxley. Loud and clear you heard what he said. It was a very powerful statement by a powerful person. And as you told me Wednesday night, I believe it was Wednesday night, you said that you already want to call Jon Moxley the wrestler of the year.
Yeah.
And I agree. I think he will have one of the best years of his career, probably even better than 2020. And I think we're finally ready for Jon. Like he said, he's truly free now. all of those demons that let him go, or that held him back rather, are now let go, and he can be free, and he can do all the things that he wanted to do. And I'm very happy for him. I'm proud to see that he took his issues by the horns and got rid of them. And he looks healthy. Man, does he look good. Like, yeah, I've seen side-by-sides of before he went away and now Wednesday, and he looks incredible. Brandon, just tie this all up in a bow. Anything else you have to say?
No, man. Really, the same things I've been saying over and over again. Just don't be surprised if 2022 is the year of Jon Moxley.
Yeah, man. I'm just very excited to see what he has in store. I wouldn't be mad if he became the first two-time AEW champion.
Yep.
I think more of his success will come outside of AEW, but he will have a very successful year in AEW. But I think he's gonna rule GCW and in the Indies, and he this year will be one of the best years of his career. We go from Jon Moxley to MJF. How fitting. MJF said last week was an embarrassment to the sport of professional wrestling. He said instead of taking his loss like a man, CM Punk took the coward's way out and rolled Wardlow up. He says that wouldn't have happened if Wardlow had more seasoning. He apologizes to Wardlow and tells him happy birthday. But he put his hands on him and he can't let that happen, so he must dock his pay unless he can get wins and qualify for the Face of the Revolution ladder match and win the TNT title for MJF. If he does that, he'll put that pay back. He says he believes Spears can give Punk his first L and show Wardlow how it's done. And he does his signature, I'm better than you and you know it. I mean, look, I really have... I feel like a broken record. They're just playing it up, and they're building it up inside of Wardlow that eventually when that turn comes, it's going to be one of the bigger moments of the year. And honestly, it'll be better for both guys. It gives guys like Wardlow and MJF and Spears, it gives them all opportunities to boost their career. But Brandon, this week specifically, what do you think? What is your mindset when it comes to the Wardlow turn on MJF?
It's continuing on, with the subtle shots at Wardlow, but not going too far because MJF knows that Wardlow will mess him up if he crosses the line. I'm liking the subtle teases, and I just hope this stuff keeps increasing, every week. It's really good. I also like how they left this first serious segment, with Jon Moxley. It jumped right into MJF because MJF kayfabe, very easy to get right back into the feel of a wrestling show and give that snotty heel. All right, time to get down into business. Time to get down into Dynamite. And he's in one of the biggest rivalries. He is in the biggest rivalry right now on the show with him and the ongoing rivalry with him and CM Punk. So, really nice segment. Really like this whole thing going on Wardlow, and glad to see how they can continue it.
For sure. They're in Cleveland next week. I have my thoughts on what's going to happen, but do you think we see anything else with Wardlow and MJF? Do you think we get the turn next week, or do you think it's just par for the course? More of the crowd egging Wardlow on. Here's what I think will happen, and I'll get your thoughts. I think next week they're going to be in Cleveland, so the crowd is obviously going to be pro Wardlow. And I think the crowd, they should do a segment with segment with MJF in the ring with Wardlow, and they could do something like MJF trashing Wardlow in his hometown, and then Wardlow acting like he wants to do something, and the crowd's just inciting him and making him feel like he's going to do something, and he never does. So it could just be the crowd kind of getting him over a little bit more than he already is. So, Brandon, with that being said, they're in his hometown. What do you think they're going to do with him?
Yeah, I like that idea a lot. You know, and you know that whole interview thing, like you said, you know, MJF. I would like if you know, like you know, the interviewer would also, you know, try to ask Wardlow a question, but then MJF cut him off. He's like, "What are you talking about? We don't care about this. This is about me." You know, yada yada yada. Try to just you know, just trying to piss Wardlow off, like you said. But yeah, I think your idea is great. Yeah, obviously the crowd's gonna be very pro Wardlow because him being from Ohio. So yeah, that's gonna be really good.
Right, and we're also getting Johnny Gargano, but that's besides the point. Okay, I think that's a good way to wrap up that part of the show. Mixed tag team match: Adam Cole and Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, versus Chris Statlander and Orange Cassidy. Statlander and Baker start. Baker immediately tags out to Adam Cole, so Cassidy must enter. And then Cole tags back out to Britt. Britt taunts Cassidy, and Cassidy does his signature kicks. Britt stomps his foot and taunts him with her DMD. Statlander comes in the ring and hits a scoop slam. She boops the nose of Britt Baker. Statlander looks for the Big Bang Theory, and Britt tags Cole in. Cassidy heads up top and hits a crossbody. And Cole counters a spinning DDT with a kick. Cassidy counters Cole offense and sends him into the outside. Britt gets in the ring as Cassidy taunts, but Statlander hits a delayed vertical suplex. She hits a pendulum moonsault, and Cassidy hits some low-flying offense on Cole, both off of the apron onto the outside. They do their hug and give the people what they want, as Excalibur says. But Cole and Baker make them pay with super kicks. Go to commercial break. We come back. Cole's working over Cassidy, and they hit a double clothesline. Both women tag in, and Statlander goes on hot tag offense. She has some good hot tag offense.
Yeah, she really does.
With a backbreaker and a corner forearm, she hits a running forearm and a blue thunderbomb for 2. Britt counters a suplex and gets a backslide for 2. Statlander looks for a gory special, but Baker hits a fisherman's neck breaker. Cole and Cassidy tag in. They go back and forth. Cole gets a kick, looks for another, and instead hits an enziguri. He looks for more, but Cassidy hits Stun Dog Millionaire. Britt tags in and stomps Cassidy. Statlander hits a kick and big offense that I missed for 2. She drags Britt to the corner and heads up top. She looks for the area 450, but Cole gets on top of Britt, and she still hits it. That looked beautiful.
Perfect.
Cassidy tags in and hits beach break on Cole for 2. Cole escapes and goes up to the ramp. Cassidy goes for a dive, but Cole hits a super kick and heads up to, I believe it was the second rope. He goes for the Panama Sunrise on Cassidy, but instead Statlander pushes him into the ring. Pushes Cassidy into the ring. And Britt gets a super kick on Statlander. She hits a Canadian Destroyer, and Cole hits a Panama Sunrise on Cassidy for 2. He clears the timekeeper's table and drags it, like the actual table itself, next to the ring. Cassidy bumps Britt through the table, which pisses off Cole. It was an accident. He low blows Cassidy while the ref is down checking on Britt, and he drops his knee pad before lowering the boom on Cassidy. He calls the ref into the ring. I think the timing was off there, but he gets the 3 count. Excellent mixed tag team match. A lot of what you want in a mixed tag team match. The women got the shine here, which I have no problem with because this Cassidy and Cole feud is not ending. But Brandon, give me your thoughts on this opening contest. Did it deliver? Did it underachieve? Did it overachieve in your opinion? And where do you see all 4 of these people going?
I definitely think it delivered. No, there's nothing like starting your wrestling show off with Adam Cole, baby, and the energy he brings, the energy Britt brings, energy Cassidy and Chris Statlander bring. Where I see these four going, do you just mean like to continue the rivalry between these four, or just in general?
Sorry, I mean like just in general.
Yeah, just in general. So yeah, it's funny you asked that because I saw this this poll the other day, this question, and I really didn't know how to answer it. And I don't know this is an AEW review, but it was, who would you rather see, get a major world title push this year, for their company, and it was Adam Cole in AEW or Finn Balor in WWE. And I was really stuck because both would be great, because Adam
Right.
Cole is doing so good, but Finn Balor could be doing so good. And so, obviously, with Adam Cole, I like to, well, what I like to see this year with him is probably what we're gonna get. The ongoing, back and forth with Red Dragon and Young Bucks. Obviously, eventually leading to Kenny's return, and we're getting Undisputed Era versus the Elite, and then Adam Cole, Kenny Omega, and when if you ask me about Adam Cole getting a world title push this year, it's definitely very, very, very possible, but because of how long this whole Adam Cole, Kenny Omega, Young Bucks, Red Dragon thing could go, I don't know if it'll happen this year, but next year it's no question.
Yep.
But this year is definitely going to be a big year for Adam Cole, and he's still going to be a big part of AEW, no question. Britt Baker, her a lot of people can say her women's title reign has been garbage. Her title reign's been great.
Asinine
I
thinking, by the way.
Yeah, I personally think it's been good. Um, you know, she's been my favorite, AEW women's champ, the most entertaining. Um, and he brought it to my attention with Rosa being the number one rank. So if this is gonna lead to her being Britt versus Thunder Rosa again, give it to me. And if that happens, I do see the title coming off her and going on to Rosa. Um, Orange Cassidy, he one of the most popular stars in AEW. Uh he I'm trying to the vibe he gives, when his music hits, everybody gets excited. He's definitely over with a lot of, I don't know how to describe him, but he's so his character is so simple, but it's also so different at the same time. You know, um, a lot of things for Orange Cassidy could happen this year. I definitely like him to get like a mid title push with the TNT Championship. Um, I think that would be great. And yeah, as far, and then Chris Statlander, her, being associated with Orange Cassidy, her being as popular as well. Um, she's definitely going to be in the Owen Hart tournament later this year. Probably going to have a great showing, and I'm just excited for all these stars, rise up in the wrestling industry this year, and a lot of potential for all four of them. This match was a great way to kick off, and a great way to solidify all four of their great year they're going to have this year in AEW.
Yeah, man, that's a good way to put it. And we'll get into what I think is going to happen in a second because this is not done. Alex Marvez backstage with the Inner Circle. Chris Jericho says he doesn't care about Eddie Kingston and he can GFY. Do with that what you will. Santana says he and Ortiz do care about Eddie Kingston. And Ortiz says Eddie made a comment that makes sense when he said they could be tag team champions without him. Without Jericho, that is. He says they have been fighting Jericho's battles for him, and he asks when Jericho has helped them. Jericho says every week, and Ortiz says that maybe next week they can prove that they don't need Jericho. I don't know what to make of this. We'll have to see how that tag team match goes next week. Adam Cole backstage says next week at Beach Break he will destroy Orange Cassidy because it'll be Adam Cole and Orange Cassidy in a lights-out, unsanctioned match, and he vows to end Orange Cassidy's career. Look, there's
Johnny Wrestling.
Yep. There's 2 points I'm going to make here. One, they're doing lights out for a reason. Brandon, this is a question for you. What do they normally do when lights out matches occur? Why are lights out matches a thing?
Usually getting in a whole lot of big surprises out of them.
Okay, that's a good answer. What about getting a surprising win, or, my point being, by asking that question is, I think this is a vehicle to get Orange Cassidy to beat Adam Cole because lights out doesn't count towards the records.
Right. Also unsanctioned, yeah.
So by doing it lights out, you're giving yourself a way for Adam Cole to lose to Orange Cassidy, and at the same time, kind of, creatively direct this in a way that, it opens the doors for a lot of possibilities when it comes to, down the road feuds and storylines. So I do think Orange Cassidy gets the victory because it's lights out. It doesn't matter. And here's my second point. You were doing the Johnny Wrestling chant, I guess you could call it, earlier. I think we see Johnny Gargano making his way into All Elite Wrestling and helping Orange Cassidy win. So that way we get the best friends, Orange Cassidy, Rocky Romero, and Johnny Gargano versus the Elite. Is that where you see this going, or do you think we're just going to see Orange Cassidy getting the victory clean? Because remember, they are in Cleveland, and Dave Meltzer has stated that he thinks Johnny Gargano will be in Cleveland. So give me your thoughts on this situation.
Yeah, I think to not have Johnny Gargano, make his AEW debut next week, appearance, I think it'd be a missed opportunity. But obviously, whenever they do decide to do it, and if it happened after, it'd still be huge, regardless. But the fact that they're in his hometown just makes it even better. And I think him joining the story would make it a lot better. We get a great whole variety of matches out of it. And then obviously the biggest one everybody wanted to see, Johnny Gargano versus Adam Cole in AEW. Johnny Gargano versus Adam Cole is one of the best matches of the modern era, no question, and one of the best rivalries. And for it to continue in AEW, take my money, man. So yeah, I would really enjoy if that happened. Yeah, really good point you made right there about the lights out match being unsanctioned too, so Cole can take his first loss, because Orange Cassidy has been taking he's been taking all the L's when it came to getting in the ring with Adam Cole. So I think for him to win next week would make the most sense to give him finally for him to get a dub over Adam Cole. I think that'd be really cool. And for it to count against Adam Cole's record, it's really smart. So yeah.
And not to mention, you want to talk about Adam Cole being number one in the rankings. He's able to take this loss, and he doesn't have to be moving down in the rankings either. So that's why I like the decision to make it lights out. But we will definitely have to see where they go with this. But I do think we see Johnny Wrestling making his AEW debut. CM Punk versus Shawn Spears. Punk legitimately hit a GTS 5 seconds into the match to get the win. MJF tries to sneak up on Punk, but Punk grabs him by the Burberry scarf, and MJF is able to escape up the ramp. Rarely do you see squash matches with established AEW stars, but I think if there was a time and place to do it, this is. This just tells the story of MJF trying to dodge Punk and Punk like basically throwing aside everything that MJF has been putting him through. This is I don't want to say well told, but it was a well executed story vehicle in this, and I know there's some Shawn Spears fans out there. I'm not particularly a big fan of Shawn Spears, but I feel like he does his job effectively, and this was just another way of progressing this feud. So, Brandon, give me your thoughts on this squash.
Yeah, man. There were people complaining about this. No clue why. It progresses the story. If you complain, you obviously don't know what's going on TV. Pay more attention. It was fine. I liked it. I liked it. And it progresses the story with MJF and Punk. Nothing else really else to it.
Yeah, at this point, I think people are just complaining to complain. It's very disappointing at this point that AEW is not able to evenly distribute a storyline without people, not trusting the process. There is a process. They have earned the ability, in my eyes, to say to me, trust the process. We'll get there. We'll tell the story. Yeah, and I believe that. So say what you want. I'm not the biggest Shawn Spears fan, but this definitely did its job on TV. And there's really nothing else you can say about it. I can't believe we're seeing Billy Gunn on national TV. But as Christian walks up, he says, thanks to Christian for being late. He says his boys are ranked in the top 5. They are ranked number 2. And he thinks Austin and Colton Gunn deserve a shot at the tag team titles. Cage says there's no doubt they're talented, but when the lights are the brightest, they can't get the statement win. He tells Billy Gunn to make a statement, and then they can talk. Austin and Colton come in, and all 3 men beat down Christian Cage. Then Austin leans down over Christian and says, "Statement made." I'm a fan of Colton and Austin, but are you excited to see them face the Jurassic Express, Brandon?
No, I get what you mean, because they have great personalities and they're really fun guys and really easy, to be fans of. But, when it comes to just like their in ring, what's what I'm looking for?
Acumen.
Yeah.
Their in-ring acumen is not on the level of Jurassic Express.
Right. And when you put yourself in that situation, it's just kind of predictable that they're not going to win. Which is fine, because predictability in wrestling it's not bad.
If it's executed well, it's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad, but it's just you just kind of can't really take them serious. And I want to be able to take teams serious that challenge Jurassic Express.
Yeah. Now I don't get us wrong. We're not saying they are bad in the ring.
No, not at all.
They're a good tag team, and it's expected of them to be a good tag team because of who their dad is. But they're not somebody I really care about seeing on a week-to-week basis on TV challenging for arguably the second biggest title in the company. I'd say they value tag team wrestling more than the TNT title is valued. And that's not saying much because all titles are valued pretty equally, but you look at like titles that the company itself, like when you think of AEW, what's the thing you think of? A good main event scene and a good tag team division. So,
yeah.
They're not the type of team I see on TV every single week challenging for titles and having big matches. But that's nothing against them. That's just they're very young too. I think AEW rushes a lot of people. That is the weirdest fire truck sound I've ever heard. Anyway. All right, Brandon. I think the segment that most people have been looking forward to hearing our thoughts on, Cody Rhodes. He's returning to Dynamite. He asks what the fans want to talk about in a very heelish way, man. He says he's reminded from the last match about a man who once sat on a stage, looked in a ring, and gave one of the most important addresses in pro wrestling history. He says it inspired millions of wrestlers and was the start of a revolution. He says he's talking about CM Punk. He says he was told to save this promo, but he doesn't know if he'll get the chance, so he'll do it now. He says in the interview, that was the first sign of a revolution. He said Punk listed things that were taboo to someone like Cody at the time. Punk mentioned New Japan Pro Wrestling, ROH, and teaming with the Young Bucks. And as Destiny happened, he was unable to. He said eventually, Punk wound up in what PWI called the comeback of the year. Cody says, we all know that it was the comeback of the decade. He says, in his absence and the void he left behind, somebody did each and every one of those things that Punk mentioned. He did. Cody Rhodes did. He said he carried every ounce of wrestling on his back and held the grain of the revolution in the palm of his hand. And we all cheered. He says he won't turn heel because they cheered him when he started the revolution. He says people talk about the forbidden door, but if you're an industry journalist and disagree with what he's saying, you aren't a real journalist. He says before there was a forbidden door, he was the one who built it. He says he's gone for 2 weeks and see that the Bucks almost started the Wednesday Night Wars all over again. He says he knows Red Dragon graduated hip toss class, but I forget the exact words he used, but basically said it's weird seeing the Bucks bury developmental once again. He says Ricky Starks got involved with Jay Lethal, the man with the one true cutter that people don't kick out of. That seemed like a shot at Randy Orton in the RKO. He mentions Malachi Black, who hung 2 losses on his name, a man who didn't need help and got help anyway. He mentions Brody King. He says we're not in the business of renaming people like Gunner McGillibuddy, or whatever they call him. And he says if you come to AEW and call yourself Brody, you have balls. And he says in 8 years when that kid comes in, you'll find out what I mean. Mentioning -1, a.k.a. Brody Lee Jr. He says, speaking of Sammy, Miro, and Darby, he says we've been taught for I forget the exact amount of years he used, but he says we've been taught that secondary belts are titles that don't have the word world attached to it. He says there are 2 champs and it's clear what we do. He says he knows Tony Khan has sent a contract to Cody and Sammy, and it may not be the one he needs. But at Beach Break, 2 titles, 1 champ, and basically the title at the top. The title's at the top of the ladder, and then he climbs the ladder, holds his title up, and that's how this segment closes. Brandon, my God, what a promo! You just take me through all of your thoughts while you were sitting back on your couch listening to this.
So immediately, first of all, I wasn't expecting any type of big promo like this at all.
Neither was I. I was expecting something basic, basically challenging Sammy.
Yeah, and I was just expecting Sammy to come out and for them to go back and forth, you know.
Yeah.
I also really like the detail of them going to commercial break with picture and then bringing the ladder out. And all the fans of AEW getting hype at the same time, whether that was at home or in the arena, because you could see in the arena them popping for them bringing that ladder out. As well as I was too, and I was like, oh, bro. And matter of fact, this is actually the idea I had for the match that they were going to have. So
yeah, we said it here on the podcast.
Yeah.
Specifically you, but.
Yeah. And it's happening at Beach Break. We didn't know if it was gonna happen at Beach Break or Revolution. Either way, it made sense. Both big shows. But to the promo. So first off, I was already going into this promo with expectations because I had Dynamite recorded because I was doing something when it came on live. So I got here at my house 30 minutes late after it started. So Will had texted me, and he was like, "Yo, make sure you listen to Cody's promo and text me about it after." And I was like, okay, well, something must be happening. And so, it comes to it, and I'm sitting here, and he starts talking, and after the first few sentences, you can tell, oh, okay, you can see where this is going. You can see what type of promo this is about to be.
Right.
I think my favorite part of this promo. I think my favorite part of this promo was him mentioning the heel turn.
Yep.
Because obviously, when fans speculate, wrestlers will do certain actions in matches and try to tease it, but rarely do they ever address your situation live on television and put it into their story. This is why I love AEW so much, because they really are for the fans.
They have nothing off limits either.
Yeah. And him mentioning not turning heel makes me even more excited, because that basically that really confirmed that it's going to happen anyway.
Right.
Yeah, man, this is really great. Really, really the highlight of the night. Man, if you want to get hyped up for a match, I'm just gonna call Cody Rhodes and tell him to come sit down and talk to you about it.
Yeah.
And that, yeah, bro, easily the most anticipated thing everybody is hyped up for next week is that match, and it's gonna be amazing. AEW never disappoints with ladder matches. Yeah, man, I'm just really excited. This was great.
And you thought what they did the first time was good with Sammy and Cody. You haven't seen anything yet. I can't wait for the Crossroads off the ladder. I can't wait for the GTS off the ladder. I can't wait for, I don't know, man. I can't wait for the Sammy does an incredible Spanish fly. Imagine we get a freaking Spanish fly off the ladder. Like, as pro wrestling fans,
pitch perfect moonsault off the ladder.
Right. As pro wrestling fans, we are in for a great match next Wednesday. But specifically, I want to talk about the promo. I haven't really given my thoughts. I'm pretty sure everybody knows my stance on it because I've been so, outspoken about it and really hype about it. But listen, guys, this was the best promo of the year. Cody had me hanging on with every word. My grandfather is not a wrestling fan. He watches, but he's not a fan, I wouldn't say. He's not a religious wrestling fan like I am. Yeah. He was hanging on to every word Cody Rhodes said. He was intrigued with that promo. And that's the power that Cody has over a lot of other people that don't have that power. Not many people can be the sole reason I'm looking forward to a match. As Brandon said, if you want somebody to come in and get you hype about a match, if you're not calling Cody Rhodes, you're not doing it right. Cody Rhodes knows how to do something that it's a gift. Not many people know how to hype like that. It's rare when people know how to hype you up for a match like that. It's a gift. Cody Rhodes has a gift from the gods. It's just it's incredible. And I'm really looking forward to this. It was the promo of the year. And there's really not much else to say. I'm so looking forward to that match next week. Jade Cargill backstage says that she has opened a challenge, and Anna Jay has accepted. Mark Sterling says Jade is undefeated, and they are thrilled to accept the challenge. John Silver hypes up Anna Jay and says Anna will be the one to dethrone Jade. Anna says there is a dark side to her, and she will do whatever it takes to win, and asks if Jade will do the same. We got the House of Black versus the Varsity Blondes. First off, Brandon, I want to talk about the Kings of the Black Throne, I believe is what they're called.
Yeah.
Man, talk about an entrance. Man, did they deliver.
Yeah, man.
Um, there's not really much else to say. They came in there with an incredible entrance theme. They came in there with something I didn't think we were gonna see. They changed the theme, which that was a needed theme change because that that singles theme that Malachi uses is good for him, but I don't think it fits Brody as much as it fits Malachi. So they walked in there. We had Kings of the Black Throne versus Varsity Blondes. Brody shoves Griff Garrison to start the match and sends him to the outside. That doesn't work. Or Pillman tries to go on offense, but it doesn't work. He goes for Air Pillman, but instead drops to the outside to talk to Garrison, who is driven into the steel steps. Back inside the ring, Black sweeps Pillman's leg so Garrison can hit a backsplash. Garrison is taken out again, and Dante's Inferno, which is the Kings of the Black Throne's finisher, finishes Pillman. It took 1 minute and 48 seconds. Post-match, Aleister Black tells the House of Black to rise, but Pac comes on the screen. He's still blind. He pops up on the screen to say he's beyond Malachi Black's reach. And he takes the blindfold off. We got a video, or before we move on, what am I doing? Brandon, we're potentially getting a Malachi Black and Pac feud. Crazy Pac, like just driven Pac versus, Malachi Black. Well, let me get Brandon back on. He disconnected. Do we have you, Brandon? Do we have you, Brandon?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep. All right. I apologize for that, guys. This Pac and Malachi Black tease. Where do you think we're going with this feud? Because I'm very excited for it.
Yeah. As soon as I didn't say anything about it last week because I wasn't totally sure. But like when I saw this on TV last week, with the whole blind thing, I was like, I have a feeling he's gonna get involved in something with Black when we saw that first Pac, video package. And yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Right.
This is also one of my other very easily my favorite parts of the show. Well, I'm a Black Mark.
We both are on this show.
Yeah. Black Mark, Pac Mark, bro. This is man, that right there, bro. That them together, in the ring, that's gonna be something great. And them both being such, dark characters and having the same type of, creative mindsets, they're gonna put something together that's gonna be amazing. So yeah, I'm really, really excited. And I wouldn't be mad at all if that's a match, on Revolution. So
I hope it is.
yeah.
Look, I'm like you said, I'm a Black Mark just like you. Pac is very good as well. I like the contrast of dark characters, and I feel like they're very similar, but at the same time they're so different.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for this because I think they do it at Revolution. I hope they do it at Revolution, and I think we are in for a very good match. I feel like that could be an early match of the year.
For sure.
But I'm liking where the Kings of the Black Throne are going, and you know what? With the news of Rey Fenix being able to wrestle in not early, but as early as February, Kings of the Black Throne and the Lucha Bros is a potential future tag team championship match
What?
that I'm ready for.
Oh yeah.
We got a video package with Lance Archer. Jake Roberts is back, and he says that Lance Archer is ready for Hangman Adam Page. We get Roppongi Vice, Rocky Romero and Chuck Taylor, or Trent Beretta rather. They steal Brandon Cutler to challenge the Young Bucks to a match on Rampage. They beat the Bucks in Japan once, so they think they can do it again. Cutler thinks the Bucks are going to kill him. Romero at the end of the segment is like, then turn the camera off, bro. This match has since been changed. Rocky Romero is not able to compete, so it'll be Trent Beretta versus Nick Jackson. I'm definitely kind of bummed that we're not getting the tag team match, but then again, I could see it happening on pay-per-view. So, I don't know. Lance Archer versus Frankie Kazarian. Jake Roberts and Dan Lambert are both in Lance Archer's corner. Archer hammers Kazarian down before the bell and then stands on his neck. The beating continues with Archer slowly pounding away as Kazarian can't get anything going. Kazarian gets dropped again and again, over and over and over, and we take a commercial break. As we come back, Archer sends Kazarian chest first into the turnbuckle. He goes for a blackout, but it's broken up with Kazarian finally getting an offense. That doesn't work, though, and Archer chokeslams Kazarian down. And, Brandon, this match went way too long. Archer hits the blackout at 10 minutes into this match. Post-match, Dan Lambert goes on another cowboy rant against Hangman Page, but Archer cuts him off because he's sick of hearing it. Archer hits a chokeslam off of the ramp, but Hangman Page is there for the save. Page gets kneed down, so he pulls his cowboy boot to blast Archer in the head. The buckshot lariat is blocked, and Page forearms him out to the floor. Brandon, so we're not getting this match on Beach Break, which is where I thought we were going to get it. We're getting it on probably Revolution. I don't see them cutting it on a Dynamite after Beach Break, so we're getting it at Revolution.
Yeah.
What do you anticipate we see with this feud?
Yeah, I'm not. I think Lance Archer's a great challenger for Hangman. I think that's a pretty solid Revolution match. And you said it a couple weeks ago. That match being possibly the world title match for Revolution kind of leads me to believe that they are going to do Thunder Rosa and Rebecca Revolution as the main event. But leading into these weeks, I'm really liking these challengers. And I said this last week. I think AEW keeps giving Hangman these challengers that either have the resume that they could be him or have the physical look that they could be him. And and he keeps overcoming these odds and beating them, and I like it a lot. I really do.
Yeah. He's been a good babyface champion, although his reign hasn't really started to get going in the way we thought it kind of would. That Danielson feud put him over heavy, and I'm excited to see where it goes with this feud because I feel like these are the two big guys in AEW that right now are in the best condition to put on a good match. And like you said, if this is a vehicle to get Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker in that main event for the title, I'm all for it, honestly, because I've been waiting for that match. And if this is the way we get it, with this being our co-main and that being the main event, then man, am I ready for this to happen. And I think it will be good. Don't get me wrong. However, I think the bigger picture here, having this match on Revolution is correct as long as we are getting Baker and Rosa.
Yeah.
Dante Martin backstage, he said he's ready for Team Taz, and with Lee Moriarty and Matt Sydal having his back until his brother gets back, they will be able to trust each other. I don't know when Darius is coming back. Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs then say they're going to prove Martin is all alone because he'll need someone to watch his front, back, and sides. Layla Hirsch breaks up a Chris Statlander and Red Velvet interview to complain about their loss on Rampage. Red Velvet says it was a miscommunication, and as a result, We finally get the heel turn. Layla Hirsch turns on Red Velvet and Chris Statlander. Man, I really can't get behind a Layla Hirsch heel turn. I don't know why I should care about it.
Same here.
Serena Deeb and Sky Blue. Deeb takes her down to start and sends Blue into the apron to keep up the beating. Back in the ring, she hits uppercuts to the back of the neck and sets up a fisherman's neckbreaker into the Serenity Lock in less than 3 minutes. Serena Deeb is a great heel. I think she should be a prominent force in the Owen Cup, and I think she actually should win, to be honest with you. So, with that being said, if we're going to get more of Serena Deeb just being a heel, give it to me. Brandon, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, man. Love is Serena Deeb right now. She's great in the ring. If she wins the Owen Cup, would it be wouldn't be mad at all with this run she's having. But in my opinion, I definitely think she's gonna be in the finals.
Yeah. If you had to book somebody in the finals against her, who would you say?
Ooh, that's a great question.
We talked about, remember back when we did how to book the Owen Cup?
Yeah.
Who was the one person I said that I could see winning? Or two people. I said Jade Cargill and Anna Jay.
Yeah.
I feel like Anna Jay versus Serena Deeb would be great. So I'm interested to see where they go with this whole Serena Deeb thing. I'm really liking what they've done so far, and honestly, I think she would be a very good first challenger for Thunder Rosa when she wins the women's title.
Yeah.
And they need to build up more heel women that are credible enough to challenge the face AEW Women's Champion. Ethan Page wants a big match on Rampage and tells Tony Khan to put his franchise player in. So we're getting Ethan Page versus Jon Moxley. Roppongi Vice versus the Young Bucks, which has been changed, by the way, to Nick Jackson actually versus Trent Beretta. So that has actually been changed due to, I believe it's COVID. I don't want to speculate, but I believe it is. We're getting Hook and Serpentico. I'm trying to pull up the rest of the matches, so I'm going off of memory. And then Anna Jay versus Jade Cargill for the TBS Championship. Brandon, how is Rampage looking for you? It is a live edition of Rampage tonight. What are you thinking?
No, really just some good wrestling, like always.
Yeah, it looks like one of the more important editions of Dynamite, or Rampage rather. So I'm looking forward to it. And then for Beach Break next week, we're getting a trios match: Chris Jericho, Santana, and Ortiz versus 2.0 and Daniel Garcia. Layla Hirsch versus Red Velvet. Cody Rhodes versus Sammy Guevara for the TNT Championship. And a lights out match between Adam Cole and Orange Cassidy, where I think we will see the debut of Johnny Gargano. So, Brandon, give me your thoughts on this card as well.
This card's great. Like you said, really a lot of nice matches. Really a lot to look forward to.
Right. Something I didn't like on this show. Matt Hardy has given Andrade El Idolo 51% of the Hardy family office, but he is still in charge of the board of directors. Andrade will be the president, and now they are the AHFO. Now they want Darby Allin. Andrade is in the mud, man. What are they doing with Andrade El Idolo?
I don't know.
This sucks, man. And I get it. It's a way to get people on TV, but really, this is what you're doing with Andrade? No, thank you. Andrade deserves better. Ideally, Brandon, what do you see or what do you think they should do with Andrade?
So he needs to be in some type of prominent role on the show, some type of prominent rivalry on the show. The way they're keeping Adam Cole on the show, keeping him in these side rivalries and have him have good matches every week is what they should be doing with Andrade. He needs to be, he needs to be, eventually, soon right now, he should be on his way to be ready to challenging for some title. Andrade is just too good to
sit around and do nothing.
Yeah, sit around and do nothing. Man, it's really kind of unfortunate, and I know they are eventually gonna have him, do something really important, and he's a future world champ. But that doesn't mean you wait to pick up some momentum with him on stuff,
Yeah, they need to get a jump on making him a star in this company. I definitely agree with you there. All right, our main event. The Acclaimed versus Darby Allin and Sting. Okay. Did you hear the line in Max Caster's rap when he said gory and self-mutilating?
Yes.
That popped me. Max Caster's great. What else can I say? They wrap a chair around Darby Allin's neck and Caster whips it into the ring post. Sting is back up as medics check on Allin, but he's willing to fight on his own. Sting takes the Acclaim down to start, but the Stinger splash hits an exposed turnbuckle, giving Bowens a 2 count. We go to a commercial break and come back with Sting putting Max Caster in the Scorpion Deathlock. Bowens hits a discus forearm, but Sting yells and doesn't let go. A super kick breaks it up, but Allin comes back in to make the save. Allin gets taken down so the mic drop can give Caster a 2 count. Sting backdrops Bowens over the top and splashes Caster through a table at ringside. Fans are chanting, "You still got it." And the coffin drop finishes Anthony Bowens off at around 9 minutes. So you're telling me Sting can do this at 62 years old, but 35 years old is too old for someone in WWE?
Right.
But man, I don't, I really don't understand that logic, bro. But all in all, give me your thoughts on this main event.
Yeah, this main event is really good. The Acclaim, love the Acclaim, love Sting and Darby. I think it was a great way, to close out a really hard Dynamite. Really nice match.
Yeah. Where do we think we're going with both of these teams? Because it's kind of hard to tell.
Yeah, it is kind of hard to tell. They're really AEW right now, really trying to build up a lot of tag teams to really try to show off their division and
Right.
And show off the potential for them this year. So yeah, I think we're gonna start getting a lot of these tag matches. Really just start building up, contenders for the tag titles, and I think that's what both of the teams are going on the same path.
Yeah. Listen. I think you'll see Sting and Darby in a prominent tag team role while they build the Acclaim up. I think the Acclaim would be a good heel tag team to challenge for the titles, and I said it before. I don't remember exactly when I said it, but I feel like the Acclaimed should be a team that we get in a prominent role in that tag division challenging for the titles. You know, I think the thing with AEW is there's so many good tag teams. You got to strategically place, and you got to select when you giving these teams their shots, because everything matters in a tag division. You got to have cohesion in a tag division. You have to have kind of a flow to it that you don't really need to have in other divisions. Like a mid-card, flow really isn't the word I would describe it as. But you need flow in a tag division. You need natural progressions more than a lot of other things. And that's not saying you don't need natural progressions in other avenues of the show. But I think more than others, a tag division really thrives when you have like that natural progression that you know is happening. And a little bit of predictability, I guess you could say. And I think the rankings are good for that. So, you know, I'm interested to see where they go with this, because there are a lot of ways in the tag division. So I don't know, but we got a good main event nonetheless, and we got a good AEW Dynamite show. That's all we got for you guys. We ran a little bit long today, longer than I would have liked, but that's okay. Make sure to like and comment on the video, as well as answering the question of the day. Question of the day. Do we see Johnny Gargano in Cleveland next week? That's what I want you guys to answer down in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe and turn on the bell for all post notifications so you never miss when we upload a podcast. Follow us on Instagram at Fourth Wall Wrestling Podcast and on Twitter at 4wall_wrestling. Guys, Brandon, did I miss anything?
No, I don't think so.
All right, guys, we'll see you tomorrow for the SmackDown and Rampage review, and then on Sunday for Breaking the Wall. You know, I really, really wanted to and anticipated doing a how to book the Royal Rumble, and I think we'll still do it. However, there it is. However, there is a lot of news to get into, so we'll have to see. But we will see you guys tomorrow on Saturday. For Brandon, I'm Will. Thank you for joining us today. This was your AEW Dynamite review right here on the Fourth Wall Wrestling Podcast. Peace.